Let's do a follow-up on yesterday's video where I filmed when you go into an independent retailer that you don't know what hook size to use when the yarn itself is not labeled, even with the knitting needle size. So it may have information of the yardage, it may have what the ply is, and you look at it and you're really excited about it, but what are you going to do? So in the comments, I was reading through it, and I think my point is lost. I'm not kind of crapping on the independent retailer. What I'm trying to say is that if I asked you to go buy glue for wallpaper, would you know what kind of glue to get when there's a variety of different glues? And that's my point, is that some of you probably will know that answer, but for myself, I don't know that answer because I don't have enough experience with the product or the glue or wallpapering in general to make that informed decision. So when I'm looking at stuff like this, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I want to make an informed decision. Now, as much as I'm a loudmouth online and that I'm communicating with you on video format, I don't want to necessarily make my presence known at a yarn store. I know that's hard to believe, but I tend to shop quietly and I do my own thing. I don't want to bug the cashiers. Sometimes in the independent retailers that the owner or people that know how to crochet or knit are not there, and it's just a person that's operating the register. That does happen. And so if you were to ask them a question, they're going to say, I don't know. So maybe some of the solution is, some people say, well, maybe you just have to buy it and then gauge it. I want to make that decision before I buy it. That's my point. The other thing is that somebody commented that maybe just take your crochet hook or your knitting needle to the yarn store and just do a quick gauge. The chances of a yarn store allowing you to unwrap one of these and to test it is highly unlikely. So it may happen somewhere. You can leave me a comment to that. So you really do have to trust in that. So if the yarn company or the person, the independent dyers, are not going to label the yarn with the knitting needle size itself, maybe they have that access online and that you can be able to see that. Maybe part of the solution is that with the store shelving, when they list the product price, maybe just put under there the crochet hook or the knitting size that it's recommended for that yarn. Maybe the independent retailer can look that up and just put it on a sign. So if I make that purchase, I can just grab a pen and write it on the label on what was recommended. Now, I know what you're thinking, well, why are you causing so much work and causing so much fuss over something? It's the lack of information that causes somebody like me to walk into a store, it's pretty, and I walk out the door without ever making a purchase. So if you want to increase the sales, the more information is the best way to go, because there are people like me that will literally walk in and walk out without making my presence known and without actually talking to somebody. And I know what you're probably thinking, oh, why don't you just open your mouth and ask questions? Sometimes I just don't want to. Sometimes I just want to go and have the rush of the shopping, and it's a personal, meditative, it feels good. It is a personal thing for me, and sometimes I just don't want to bother with anybody, and I just want to enjoy myself with looking at the yarn. So thank you so much for the comments. I know that it sounded whiny. Some of people said that it was kind of a discouraging messaging, that I'm kind of bitching about something with the yarn industry. My goal ultimately isn't to put any yarn companies out of business or the independent retailer. My goal is, how do we make more people more interested in the yarn arts? And I think just providing more detail when you're at the point of purchase is great. When you're online and you're making purchases, chances are when you're online, there's a lot of detail in there so you can make those informed decisions, some product reviews and all of that. But that is missing when it comes to shopping in a retail store. So the more information, the better. Another person commented that, you know, in North America, there's yarn standards for different things. That's North America. So a lot of these beautiful yarns are not necessarily made in North America, and they're following a different set of principles. So yes, you can go look at the yarn online and hope that somebody has provided that information. But without that information, I think that you're blocking a sale. So without further ado, the dogs are going to have a barking fest. Have a great thing. Continue to leave your comments. There's no wrong answer. And sorry if it came across as a bit whiny, but I'm trying to make a point.